You can't say no to Dean. I mean, anyone who can hold this Viking ship that is, How to Train Your Dragon together is, and watching him firsthand, it was quite a remarkable process. Just his incredible childlike enthusiasm, but then he's got this sort of meticulous sense of detail and incredibly passionate. He's so passionate about the stories, and that was really infectious. It really is the best entry I think a character's ever had in cinema history. Masked and mysterious, and you don't know whether she's a force of good or a force of evil. Utterly enigmatic, she rises out of the clouds and sort of terrifies and bewitches Hiccup, and then leads her back to the Dragon Sanctuary. And then he is as surprised, I think, as the audience will be, that in fact this masked, mysterious, half-dragon person, half-human, is in fact his mother. Well, she's in this extraordinary paradise. She's created this Eden, colourful Eden, full of dragons. It's, breeding them, protecting them, living amongst them. She's had no human contact for 20 years. And in a way, it's through seeing Hiccup's love of those true love of dragons, I think she reconnects to her son, and that's a love that's never ever gone away. I think what happens right from the first exhilarating moments of the film, where you're part of this sort of dragon contest where Burke has been utterly transformed. There's this incredible riot of colour and energy, and I think when Hiccup meets Valka in the film, the colour's been bleached out of everything again, and suddenly he arrives into the Dragon Sanctuary, and it is like the Garden of Eden. The sky is blue, there's dragons of every imaginable size and shape and colour and age. The babies are so sort of rambunctious and uncontrollable. And I think he sees an environment, and the audience sees an environment that is, it's completely perfect. Part of the challenge and the pleasure is that the world is being created in parallel to the way the characters are coming alive through the voice. So he and Bonnie, every time I would sit down to do another session, and this happened over several years, is that they'd first of all show me where the animation was at and where the drawings were at and what they had hoped to do. So you knew what you were. You were entering into the world through the voice, and so you realised how much or how little you needed to add to that. Well, she evolved over the time that we recorded it, but initially I think apart from for me as an actor, it's always been part of the story, and I just love the stories, and having watched the first film, then with my children I went back and read several of the books, and it's such a unique, strange world that the writer had created initially. But she was a character who sort of had a wound at her centre, but was at once ferocious and tender. And I think the challenge of finding that balance, the absolute liberating freedom. I mean, if I could do half the things that she did, diving off dragons and jumping from wing to head, balancing on a tooth and then falling through the air. It was wild and exhilarating. Even though that's Cloudjumper is the dragon that she is mostly on, she has such particular and universal relationships with all of the dragons. I mean, it's a wonderful moment when she sees Toothless for the first time, and then just with the wonderful gestures that Dean and the animators have created, she's able to tame him and turn him on his back. So she has an innate understanding of the personality of each of the dragons. I did find the film exhilarating and uplifting, and it's a riot of it's such a rollicking adventure, and all of those characters who were obviously much younger in the first film, all the kids, they're in that real, they're wild and unruly, but they're operating from a really, they believe in something. And I think they take you on a journey of saying, you know, we actually do believe that a peaceful world can be created, and we're going to set about achieving it, and we're going to bring our parents along.